Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Season 7 of Stand Up and Stand Out. Párate y desdécate. I'm your hostess with the mostest, Nikki Green. As a life and business resiliency expert, I thought we would share some stories of resilience this season. It's also the 1-year anniversary of Chameleon Mindset, my best-selling book, and we are giving away a bunch of great prizes and deep discounts on my coaching programs to celebrate. Be sure to check the show notes of each episode to learn more and follow me on social media. I hope you're enjoying Season 7, and I look forward to hearing your feedback and comments on the fascinating topics we're going to cover with each guest. Welcome back, everybody, to Season 7 of Stand Up and Stand Out. Párate y desdécate. We have the amazing, the talented, and living on a tropical island, Vicki Holman, here to join us today. Hi, Vicki. How are you doing?
I'm so good. How are you?
Doing great. Vicki is absolutely living the dream. Not only does she live on a tropical island and runs an amazing business, but she just got back from Tokyo and seeing Taylor Swift. I mean, what do you really want more in life? We don't need to talk about anything else in the show.
Huge Swiftie here, and it was amazing. And I love Tokyo. Japan is one of my favorite countries. But seeing Taylor Swift, I saw her back on her first night. And so seeing her back on the stage was mind-blowing.
Fantastic. Well, Vicki and I belong to Leadership Global, and we've been sharing a lot of space in different meetings here and again. And we thought, hey, let's get on a podcast together and talk about all the fun things that Vicki gets to do day in and day out and see how you guys can live the life of your dreams, profit first ways. So, Vicki, why don't you kick us off a little bit here and share with the audience a little bit about who you are, what you do, and how you ended up in Saipan.
I love it. Yes, thank you for asking me. So I've been profit coaching for about 4 years now. But before that, my husband and I started a dental practice from the ground up, including building a building straight out of dental school. He was straight out of dental school. I was straight out of business school. We had 0 patients, 0 money, and we turned it into a multi-million-dollar business. And we sold that back in April of 2021. And it was in 2020 that I shifted to profit coaching, and it really made the difference in our business. We actually got hit with a really big tax bill in 2020, and so I decided that we needed to come up with a better way to manage our cash. And so that's how I got started in profit coaching. Now, the tropical island story, it's a different story, but it kind of is the same. And you live your life and you think it's going to go a certain way, and it doesn't. And that's when I really think that the saying is when one door closes, another door opens. And that's where we were. And it was actually January of last year of 2023, where all of the doors had closed. We had sold our dental practice. I was working online, but my husband was actually working out of state. He had to move to California to find a temporary job while we figured out what we were doing. And he thought he was going to get a contract with that he was working for an Indian tribe, and it just didn't work out. My youngest son was getting ready to graduate from high school. And so we were at a crossroads, and it really was truly, what do we want to do and how do we want to live our lives? We never thought that we would, have that opportunity. And when my husband and I were first married, he was in the military, and so we had lived internationally. We lived in Germany for a few years, right when we were first married. And we had always said we wanted to live internationally again, and didn't think that we would ever actually get the chance to do that. And so during that conversation in January, we're like, what do we want to do? And it was live international. Like, let's do it. I don't have any grandkids, and all of my other children are in college or, in their jobs and living their lives. And it was just, what do we want to do? And so we found that I live on Saipan, which is one of the islands in the country of the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands. And it is because it's a Commonwealth of the United States. And so they use a lot of the U.S. laws. And so they used my husband's U.S. dental license. So I literally found the job by Googling international dentist jobs that require a U.S. license. And so it popped up. It was one of three, and we sold everything and moved to Saipan last year in June. So we've been here almost 8 months now.
That is such an amazing story. And really, it's just inspiring for so many other people, because I think a lot of people, it's like, well, the only way for you to possibly, be a digital nomad or to live in these other places is that you can only have some sort of online business or something that you can kind of take with you. But I love this story because it really does allow you to have your business and him to, still be a dentist. And so I think being more creative with some of these things to really think about what are the opportunities out there and in these transitional phases of life, because there's these moments where it's not a big window and you got to make kind of a quick decision. And I just love how quickly you just kind of jumped in and leaned into it. And I know you're having a blast and really getting to explore the countryside and enjoy not just Saipan, but other places around. So I know your other love is travel, which is a great place to be from. So tell me maybe a little bit about the adventures that you're having while you're living there.
I love these questions. Like this is what I have said is I have two passions. And my passions are talking money and cash flow, because nobody talks about money enough and we all need it. But then also combining that with my love of travel. So we just got back from almost a week in Japan. Next week, we're finalizing our trip. Or not next week, next month. But this week we're finalizing our trip. We're pretty sure we're going to go to New Zealand, but if not, we're going to Singapore. And, where we're at in Saipan is a great jumping off point, because we actually can fly very reasonably for a lot of, not cheap, but a reasonable to be able to fly from Saipan and just go anywhere on this side of the world. And so I've got New Zealand planned, and then we're doing Korea in June. And then I've got like an open time slot. So I maximized my husband's time off because he does have a regular 9-to-5 job. I used the calendar and his holidays to really get the most out of his vacation days. So we've got all of the time slots available. We just don't have all of the plans available yet. So, any suggestions? I'm open to suggestions to where we're going, but Korea, Japan. Oh, I'm going back to Japan. My sister's going to come over and we're going to do more of Japan in July. And then I've got an open time slot.
I love that. And, folks that follow the show know that I love traveling. I've traveled a lot throughout my career. Even when I was younger, we went on family road trips, kind of drove all over the place. And, on one side of the family, we were very outdoorsy. We were fishing and camping and hiking and all that. And then on the other side, like with my mom and my stepdad, that was more like, let's do Disneyland and SeaWorld and, kind of amusement parks. So I feel like it's kind of cool. Like I had the best of both worlds. But since then, I have goals of going to every single state in the United States and every single province in Canada and Mexico, and having gone to now 15 countries, it's like, well, how can I get to more? And it's beautiful that, you start to think of, well, I have a home base here. Where else can I go that's relatively close and continue to explore? It just gives you so many opportunities. I love Singapore. It's definitely, I always say, one of my favorite places in the whole world to go and visit. There's so much to do there. And I've been there many, many times. And every time I find new stuff.
I'll have to pick your brain a little bit about Singapore then, because maybe that's going to be the other blank space in our calendar, because I really want to go see Singapore. That's one of my top ones.
Yeah. Well, and I find that there's some places that I never thought I would go. And because of work, I had opportunities to go there. And it presents a new opportunity because you don't have a preconceived notion. It wasn't like this long planned trip. But you can actually kind of see it with a fresh set of eyes. It's just like, let's just show up and see how it unfolds and have, kind of a couple of key things. But this is also now how I have really great friends all over the world, so that when you get there, you can play tourists together, or you can be like a local and really get to see the sights.
I love it. And that's the way my husband and I actually did Japan last week. Is we had a couple of things planned, but we loved just walking around and wandering and seeing where we end up. And there was one particular park that we looked at the map and I'm like, oh, that's too far to walk. But we ended up there by just wandering. And, it's funny how life kind of leads you in that direction. Sometimes if you're open to the possibilities, I think so often we do try to guide, like to live according to a plan, where I've tried lately, especially in the last year, to be open to all the possibilities and see where it leads.
I love that. And as we, kind of get back to the business side of things, I think where you help people is really, really critical, because a lot of people that maybe don't have financial backgrounds and they're really focusing more on the creative side of things, a lot of times they just focus on revenue, right? They just focus on that initial sale. And for some of them, maybe even that part is challenging for them because they're not used to talking about money, not used to asking for money. They're used to just maybe getting a paycheck at a job. And I think it's really great how, profit first methodology kind of turns things around and makes sure that like you're actually getting paid and you're paying the things you need to. So maybe share a little bit how you got into, working on cash flow and focusing there.
Yeah, sure. Like you mentioned, I had a business degree going into running the dental practice. And, my husband, when he first got out of school, he would rather have worked a 9-to-5 job for somebody else. And I'm like, why would we do that when we could own our own business? And he's like, because I don't know how to be a dentist. So if we're going to do this, you've got to run everything else. And it was because even with the business background, looking at your profit and loss statement and seeing, hey, we had this amount of profit, but I know that's not what's in my bank. And so where is that profit? And, and just understanding how the financials work is really helpful. And, and as I'd mentioned at the beginning, in 2020, we had a huge tax bill, and I did what I thought you were supposed to do when you got extra money. And so 2020 was really our best year. And I know 2020 was a really hard year for a lot of people, but it was our best year. And I did have an influx of cash. And so I did what I thought I was supposed to do, which was paying down debt. And yes, I had taken a little extra out, for our personal lives. But when I got that tax bill, I hadn't planned for that tax bill. I was paying, our estimated taxes. My accountant did her job. Some people have said, well, were you mad at your accountant for not telling you? No, that's not her job. It is not her job. Her job was to have me pay out as little as I had to, with absolutely meeting all of my legal obligations. But I wanted her to find a way to minimize my cash outflow for taxes. But it doesn't account for the tax bill when you have better than expected revenue. And understanding that, and I had been playing with cash flow a little bit because I kind of felt like there was more to it that I needed to understand. And that's when, I found the profit first method, and since then I have tweaked it to account for some other things in it besides their main 4 categories, but really allocating that money. And it went from, I knew we had 13 employees, and I knew payroll was ran on Thursday, and I got our big insurance checks would come in on Wednesday. And so it was such a stressful situation about, okay, is the Blue Cross payment going to cover payroll? And okay, this is Wednesday. And it was kind of like looking at the pay, the way that they do it is they have several pages of on the insurance page to where you don't see the final until you get down to the last page. And so I'm scrolling through the pages, hoping that I'm going to have a big enough deposit to cover payroll. That went from being ahead, having enough for payroll for 2, maybe 3 payrolls in advance within a very short amount of time. I think it was 2 or 3 months. And just the amount of stress that was released by having a cash flow plan in place and knowing that those key things were covered and that, the cash flow coming in and out of business would cover all of the other things. I didn't realize how much time and energy I was spending on checking our bank balance. I was doing bank balance accounting. I was looking at the bank balance. Do I have enough money to cover this? Do I have enough, to do this? And my husband saying, I want this piece of equipment. And I'm like, well, you'll have to wait, or I don't have enough money to cover that. And being able to do it strategically with intention within a matter of months. And so it was life-changing. And I couldn't believe how much energy was expended in a negative way versus being able to free up that energy to do more creative things and to do things that really brought me joy.
Hi, everyone. My name is Nikki Green, and I am a life and business resiliency expert. I have been helping people for over 2 decades overcome their challenges and achieve their life and business goals. I wrote Chameleon Mindset for others seeking clarity while acclimating to new situations. This entertaining yet research-based guide to transitions will open your mind to unique strategies for finding purpose and achieving your goals. Through my new book, you will create the happy life you desire with 5 philosophies for change, beginning with C for creative adaptability. Move from resistance to resilience by assessing and adjusting your risk tolerance. The practical lessons in Chameleon Mindset will help you shift your mindset, sharpen your skill set, and overcome the things holding you back from dealing with change. We'll have the new online course coming soon. There are half a dozen modules in total, but the way you choose to pursue your destiny, it's up to you. Each module can be done independently or repeated as necessary to tackle new obstacles and new goals in your life. And you can earn extra Chameleon coins for uncovering them. What are Chameleon coins, you might ask? These are reward XP that you can earn to purchase additional Chameleon Mindset benefits as you progress through the course. You can get swag, group coaching, one-on-one coaching, exclusive event tickets, and networking opportunities. And if you collect enough coins, you can even earn a full-day VIP intensive with me to work solely on your goals. And by joining the Chameleon crew, you will also gain access to my network of thousands of influential people around the world with expertise to help you on your business, your personal endeavors, health and fitness, and so much more. Reserve a copy today and click below to be added to our subscriber list. And it's really important because so many people do not talk about money. And especially for people that I meet that are transitioning from corporate jobs or, whatever kind of 9-to-5 paycheck job to try to run a business, it's very different because a lot of times we've also been taught with a mindset of, well, every 2 weeks a paycheck is going to come in and it's going to be this steady amount. And I know exactly, what it is. They've already taken out taxes. They've already taken out my health insurance, right? And everything else is upside. But then on the expense side, we just go, oh, okay. And then rent and then food and then car and then, and all these things start coming up. And what I see most people do is as soon as they get a promotion, a bump up a little bit in the paycheck, all the expenses already start matching all those things as well. And so when a lot of people leave their 9-to-5 job, they run their business the same way. They keep getting those expenses to go up and up and up instead of really trying to optimize, and making sure that there's cash flow because there isn't a paycheck in your entrepreneurship. It's a roller coaster ride where your revenue may be up and down depending on kind of seasonally what's going on. Hopefully you get some trajectory and everything keeps going up, but sometimes just stuff happens. So I love that you're really helping to coach people through this and really get them to refocus on how important this is. Because like you said, it's not just about the money and the numbers. It's about the peace of mind. It's about being able to just relax and enjoy your business and enjoy your life and have that harmony together. I know you love what you do and you're really passionate about it. Maybe share a little bit more about how, this can help other people, I think, maybe in different types of businesses that you've worked with.
Sure. I think it so often as entrepreneurs, we think that we're going to grow out of a profit problem. And I say you cannot grow out of a profit problem. And so really what I have been focusing on lately is profitable pricing and making sure that your pricing is based on data and not on emotion or what your competitors are charging or what you think you're worth, but really understanding the data behind it. So like your specific business, your specific overhead requirements, your specific goals, long-term goals, your specific tax bracket, everything is different for every business. And so just having cookie cutter pricing is not going to cut it. And so I built out a course to where you can input your data into a calculator and come up with the minimum profitable price. So and you can look at that information and it doesn't account for market conditions or value-added services, but you can, based on data, know that if you're charging this price, you've got your profit built in, you've got your intentional reserves built in, you've got your taxes and your owner's pay and everything in there so that you can feel confident in your pricing. Because again, you cannot grow out of a profit problem, but if your pricing includes profit, then you can have confidence and know that you're on the right track and then scale from there.
Just like music to my ears when I hear you say that. Having spent most of my career working in pricing strategy and optimizing pricing, for so many companies and different products, when I talk to people, most people are just doing this sort of, thumb in the air kind of pricing. It's like, and like you said, they maybe do a little bit of market research or ask a couple of people, and then they're just kind of pegging it, with a dart in the wall. And that's not how you price your services. There's so much more that needs to go in it. But I think so many people are, again, afraid of maybe the sales conversation of justifying, why it costs that much. And at the end of the day, it costs what it costs, right? And really, it's having confidence in your sales that you can sell anybody, no matter what the price is that you're telling them. And I think the other important part that you add into that formula is owner's pay, because I think I'm seeing way too many entrepreneurs right now not giving themselves a paycheck, and they're just working and working and working. So like, I'm helping my clients, but you're not helping your clients if you're not helping yourself first and really setting a good example for living that lifestyle that you're, creating the dream of. So just beautifully said, and so many wonderful things I can see that you're helping people with. And I know you love it. I can see it.
I do. And, just like you said, like so many people don't pay themselves. And you can only do that for so long, and then you stop doing what you're best at, and then who are you serving? But if you build it with intention and that this is going to help you create the life that you want to live, it creates such a beautiful energy that, people are drawn to you.
Oh, perfectly said. Well, time flies when we're having fun. I know you and I could nerd out on finance topics forever and ever. Maybe we'll do a collaboration course together, guys, and we'll share some more insider secrets on there. But just in case people would like to find out more about you, learn about your products and services, where can they find you and get to know more?
Absolutely. So my website is ebbandcashflow.com. And I'm active on all the social media, but I'm probably most active on TikTok. And so if you really want to get to know me, find me on TikTok. But I'm also on LinkedIn. I love LinkedIn. It's a great resource. But you can find me on all the social media. It's
been wonderful having Vicki on the show, learning a little bit more about her business and all the wonderful travel that she gets to do living in Saipan. Super jealous. And excited to hear about all your next adventures and when we can collab again. So thank you for joining us, Vicki.
Thank you for having me, and let's meet up again.
Absolutely. All right, kids. Well, if you haven't done it already, please be sure to subscribe, like, follow, comment, whatever you do on the platform where you love to find us. If you want to catch another episode, you can catch us where all the cool kids hang out that do podcasts. This is Nikki Green signing off for Stand Up and Stand Out. Bye, everybody.